Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the probe labeling. So before going for start to the probe labeling, we should know about the what is probe. So probes are small 15 to 30 base nucleotides sequence used to detect the presence of complementary sequence in DNA. So this probe can be used for the various purposes and it can be used for the hybridization purpose. So here this is permit the probes to base pair with sample nucleic acid that may be your DNA or RNA. So this will allow the identification of the sample that show base pairing with the probes. So this hybridization is highly precise, extremely sensitive. This occurs only when base sequence of a probe is present within the gene or DNA segment. So the complementary of this can be used to identify the complementary sequences in the target sequences. So how this probe can be prepared? So there are the various methods available for this. So one of them may be the for that highly purified mRNA can be used as a probe. They are naturally single stranded and this single stranded probes can be prepared by also the cloning cloning the corresponding DNA sequences inserted into the special type of vectors like PGM and also the single stranded the phage M13 that can be also used for preparing single stranded the probes and that can be used also for the DNA sequencing as well. So DNA sequences this isolated from the genome of the organism or cDNA molecules are prepared by using mRNA. This can be cloned in E. coli and can be also used as a probes. So the PCR can be used to generate also the another way this one using the PCR can be used to generate single stranded copies of a DNA sequences called as asymmetric PCR. So there is a one of the way through which this PCR can be used in this way, this asymmetric PCR. So what is this asymmetric PCR? Actually, this asymmetric PCR consists of the primer. Normal PCR consists of the forward primer and reverse primer. So in the asymmetric PCR, we are making or manipulating the our sequence in such a way in primer in such a way so that after certain cycles, say for example after 10 cycles, one primer going to be exhausted, so only one strand is going to be amplified so that the only single stranded primer will be allowing the extension, or we can say the one strand is going to be label. So that can be used here. So the next one is single stranded cDNA can be prepared by limiting limit the copying of mRNA by reverse transcriptase. So mRNA can be copied to the cDNA as well, and then this can be used as a probe if radio labeled or non-radio labeled uh, sequences are used. So before going for the this labeling of the probe, we should know which phosphorus or which things should be labeled. Before going for the probe labeling, we should know the sugar phosphate backbone. So if we are seeing, this is a general structure of, we can say, this triphosphate. This is the ribose sugar, this is the adenine. So which sugar, or which, we can say, which phosphorus is going to be used? Generally the this gamma one is going to be labeled. Say for example, if we are having the DNA anti-parallel like this, so this is the DNA and this is the DNA structure. So this one here, we can say the 5 prime in and parallelly anti-parallel structure, so this will be your 3 prime in. This is your sugar phosphate backbone, sugar phosphate backbone. And here whatever the bonding is there, that is the between the bases. So here this bases are there. So this sugar and phosphorus, this sugar phosphate is here. So this is available. This is a called sugar phosphate backbone. This one, sugar phosphate backbone, and the bases are here. Here, this one. These are the bases, and they may be your adenine and the corresponding to the another one anti-parallel the stand bases will be the T. Likewise, the if it is here G, so this is the hydrogen bond, triple bond, that will be the correspondingly it will be C. So here this one is A. Here it has been shown that this is the A. So this is the alpha phosphorus. It's remain in the structure of the sugar phosphate backbone, and it is going to be incorporated. While the this 5 prime will be always having the phosphate group, and this one will be having the hydroxyl group. 5 prime, that's why it is called the one strand should, this if it is single strand of the DNA, so this will be the 5 prime phosphate group and 3 prime hydroxyl group. So while going to label, there are the three ways of labeling: 5 prime phosphate group and 3 prime, but in labeling that one. So one may be this one labeling, and second one may be at this labeling, that is called the end labeling. This is your end labeling, this is your end labeling. So this called in labeling. Here you can mention end labeling. Likewise, in between also we can incorporate. So that can be done in between, that is through the your Nick translation it can be done. So there are the various ways. So this is this we can say this is the third way we can say. So we will deal in the details. So we have to remember or we should know that which phosphorus is going to be used if we are using the same one. Say for example, if we are going to use the Ind one here, so we have to remove this one, and then this one, this gamma phosphorus, it should be labeled, that is P32 can be used, P32. So normal phosphorus has to be removed and this is going to be incorporated here. So this one, likewise here also this phosphorus can be incorporated. So another one is that the how to incorporate in between. This can be done through this alpha one. So as we know that in between the nucleotide with the this structure is going to be incorporated in between this along with the nucleotide, this base. So this should be labeled. So we will discuss how it is going to be incorporated in between, and all the this DNA strand can be also labeled. So here there are the various ways of the probe labeling. So probe labeling can be done through either in a radioactive manner or the non-radioactive manner. So here we can see here this is the radioactive one and this one is the non-radioactive labeling. So here this in the non radioactive labeling we can use 32 phosphorus, while non-radioactive labeling the various like biotin, dioxygenin, fluorescent molecules can be used. So what are the ways? Like first one, the Nick translation that just I was discussing with you. The Nick translation, then primer extension method based on RNA polymerase, in labeling, direct labeling method. So coming to the one by one, like Nick translation. So why this is called the Nick translation? Translation. So here, in fact, this is written extension. It should be the translation. So this has been written by one of my students also. There is a movement. So movement of the nick. There is a movement translation of the nick along the duplex due to activities of DNA polymerase. So here we can see this is the DNA duplex which we are interested to label in between. So DNA polymerase, this DNA, it will be making the nick, or we can say the DNA DNA are making the. So here it is partial nick is created at the single strand. So further here DNA polymerase will be going to be incorporated via action, and it will start adding one by one nucleotide, radio labeled nucleotide. That's we should remember the phosphorus, that's alpha one, it should be incorporated. So the with the nuclease action it's going to be displaced. So one nucleotide is going to be added, then second nucleotide is going to be added. There is a extension of the or we can say with the addition of the bases there is going to be extension and the replacement of the mm, rest of the this strand, and ultimately we will get the your final this added labeled nucleotide. So and after the addition of this we can get the various band, like say for example, this on a this X-ray film, there is a various band, uh, it is going to be hybridized. Then finally we are finding that this the this band is going to be hybridized, and we are finding uh, another hybridized this one. So this is showing the say for example, there is a various genes, or we can say genomic DNA is there. So it has been cut, fragmented, and allowed to hybridize with the your probe, means this one. So on electrophoresis, we are getting this one, the various number of bands, and then that is to be hybridized with the probe, and then we are getting on ultraradiography or something like that, so X-ray film. So we are getting this band. So it will make sure that there is a this band is present. So this one for our gene, it is used to label radioactively or non-radioactively double-stranded DNA. So to both strand it can be labeled depending upon the condition. So primer extension can be also used in the same way as it has been already discussed. Radioactive labeling used for 5' to 3' extension of the primers. Anti-parallel nature have certain. There is a also the problem with the while using with the radioactive labeling. So first one is the problem with the your handling problem, since this is a radioactive, and another problem is the T half of this phosphorus is short. By the time we are going to utilize this for our purpose, it is going to be disintegrated. So we have to take care of that also. So in that way, this radioactive labeling is creating certain problem. Even though to resolve this, we can use the S35 also. So, but problem remains there. So we can use also the non-radioactive labeling. So problem of this disposal, as it was in the radioactive labeling, it get resolved, and the T half was also there, so that's also going to be resolved. So uh, there is a storage problem in radioactive labeling. So the here it is not such problem. So it can be stored at minus 20 degrees centigrade for a long time. So in Nick translation, we can also use the biotinylated, the non-radio labeling. We can use the biotinylated. So what is biotinylated? So here, this biotinylated, it means the vitamin H conjugated nucleotides of long tail added to probe. So long tail non-specific base sequences added to the any probe. So this biotinylated probe can be hybridized to test nucleotide, the targeted nucleotide, fixed on a solid support, say for example certain membrane and so on, then washed off to remove the non-hybridized complementary nucleic acid. Then hybridized sample, hybridized samples, say, then detect, this can be detected by the blue color, and after this detection, the blue color is because of the insoluble products form, and that give the cytochemical reactions. So this biotin and this can be, which is vitamin H, can be visualized through the egg white protein, that is a lipoprotein, that is called avidin, which is highly specific for this biotin. So biotin avidin conjugate can be detected, and this is much faster than the others. That is the radioactive labeling. That is the advantage here, but also there is a disadvantage of this. Means we can't use this, reuse this. We can't reuse this. So for that, inability to use the filter. So that can be resolved further with the another non-radioactive labeling, that is with the use of dioxygenine to the probe. So that can be detected in buffer containing dioxygenine specific antibody, that is called as anti-dioxygenine, that is NTA, coupled with enzyme alkaline phosphatase, which is important. So this was all about the how to label the probe. So this was the in the brief. So there are the various application of the probes, use of the probe. So how these probes can be used and where there are the various applications. So first one, identification of the recombinant clone. That maybe there are the various way identification of recombinant clone, that southern, northern, and colony hybridization, dot plot hybridization, etc. So say for example, we have the gene from one source, it has been cloned in a certain vector and then transformed, and after a transformation, the based on the efficiency of the transformation, number of the clones of the that gene we can get. Say for example, millions of the cells are growing in that, so clones. So how we can screen that one? So the presence of that through the this probe complementary, it can be visualized. So that can be done. And likewise, confirmation of the integrated gene. Just I have explained, one gene has been for interest of the gene has been taken and inserted into the vector and then transformed. Then it has been propagated, cloned, so integrated, that gene is going to be integrated, so that can be make clear through this. Likewise, restriction fragment length polymorphism, so that can be also for the DNA fingerprinting also, like one can predict that for the paternity test or crime victim and so on, from the suspected place, if we are having suspecting that this one person, maybe if we are having the hope for that, we can detect it. Likewise, the uh, hybridization of a specific sequence in a specific chromosomes. So in situ hybridization can be also done for detecting the presence or a particular gene on a chromosomes can be detected. So accurate diagnosis of the disease like parasites, pathogen, or defective viruses. So only the things is that the gene should be specific, and for that the probes should be available, and that can be detected. So genome mapping, including man also, and for the particular gene, like for this probe can be also used for the in case of detection of certain genes also. Likewise, for the real-time PCR also, in the current situation, the COVID-19, the this coronavirus, that the gene is also going to be identified with using the this probe. So there are the in normal PCR there is a forward primer, reverse primer, this forward primer, then this strand, this is a forward primer, then reverse primer, then there is a probe for that specific probe. So that through the real-time PCR it can be detected. So here also this can be used. So in that there are the fluorophore attached with this, and the quencher is attached with the probe like that. It can be the number of the genes can be predicted with this also in the through the real time PCR. So this was all about this the